From family events to volunteer opportunities to community happenings, there is a lot going on in your community. Learn about all the possibilities and opportunities on this episode of Community Hotline.
Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel, and we're here at Metro East Community Media. We're here today to talk with a local organization that does a lot of good in this community that I want you to find out about. And don't forget that Community Hotline is also on Facebook, and we also have a blog, so be sure to check us out there. Today we're here with the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. With us we have the CEO, Allison Hart. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you.
And Bob McDonald, who's the past president of the board of the Chamber.
Thank you, Monica.
Thanks much for being here. Now, the Chamber is kind of going through a few little changes here. You are the new CEO.
That's correct.
And how long have you been there now?
I started in January 3rd,
Okay.
so I'm at 6-month mark.
Yeah, 6-month mark. Good. So far, so good.
And it took us 6 months to find her, too.
That's right. It was a long process. Tell me a little bit about that, Bob. What were you looking for?
I was serving as the president of the Chamber at the time, and Carol Kate was my president-elect, and so the two of us partnered on that. Carol ultimately chaired the committee that interviewed her, but we were looking for someone to take the Chamber in a new direction, someone with experience in membership organizations, event planning, and we went through a process with over 65 applications that eventually got narrowed down to about 4. Those were interviewed, and ultimately Allison was chosen, and we think after 7 months we've made the right choice.
Good, good. Well, I think so too. Allison, let me just deviate from what we were originally going to talk about and ask you just a little bit about your background. What is your background before coming here to the Chamber?
It's actually rather varied, which makes it a perfect background for the Chamber. I did work for a large membership organization in San Francisco, the San Francisco Convention and Visitors Bureau, where I worked in their member services department for 7 years, meeting all member needs, putting together programs and doing event planning for that particular organization. I've also done a great deal of event planning, and I have a marketing background as well in a variety of organizations, event related, so a lot of events marketing as well. And my last job was actually doing leadership conferences for Fortune 1000 companies around the country, and I ran the marketing production department. So it's a variety of roles that really are perfect for the needs of a chamber, which are so diverse.
Yes.
So Monica, you see why we chose her.
I do see, yes, your background is great. So, now, when you were looking, what exactly were you looking for? Because I know that the Chamber is going to be going in a different direction. You're looking for somebody, obviously, with some of the background that Allison has.
Yeah, she brings the background to help us to project the Chamber more into the community, to partner with other community organizations in a more effective way, to help the Chamber become a stronger voice for the business community within our city and within our whole community. Because an essential element of a successful community has to be a business organization network.
What is the essential mission of the Chamber?
Well, the Chamber is here to work at improving the life of the community and to be a representative of the business organization as it interacts with the community to build a stronger network of community people and businesses.
And if I might add to that, our main goal is to enhance the economic vitality of the region and the community here. And we are the Gresham Area Chamber, so it does include Gresham and the surrounding cities in our area. So it's not just exclusively Gresham.
So how do you go about doing that?
a lot of outreach into the community. One of the things that I've been working on very extensively in the last 6 months is doing a lot of stakeholder outreach. That includes meeting with all of my board members as well as elected officials in the community, both at a city level up to the state and regional level, and really understanding what they're doing so we can work with them and partner collaboratively and really speak as a region and work for the region and look at ways that we can grow the economy here. It also narrows down to the very base thing of like shopping local and working with businesses to shop local and working with our members to use one another's business services. The other things that we work on are our relationships with all of the community organizations. There are many community organizations in this area that are often doing like activities. And so I'm very collaborative by nature. And so I've reached out to all of them and say, hey, you know, we have these 5 things or however many where we have similar goals. How do we work together so we can strengthen ourselves and pool our resources to have a greater reach?
Sure.
Monica, I think the Chamber has often been associated with event planning and events.
Yes, and I've had Chamber members on here before talking about different events, which is great. We love to promote them. However,
and we still want to continue those events. But I think we want to have the Chamber become better known as an economic force of vitality in the community. And Allison can do that in providing leadership with the Chamber to interface with other organizations that tie together to create a stronger economy.
I like the idea that you're collaborating with those groups because a lot of groups there's a lot of overlap. And it's good to be able to pool those resources and actually work toward the same goal.
Well, there's a lot of overlap and there's a lot of individual work by groups, but they don't work together.
Yeah, and if you can get them to work together, you're going to achieve more and faster, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So the Try Local First is a good example of that.
Exactly.
Imagine now that you've been involved with that committee, have you
They
not?
are actually a committee of the Chamber.
Okay.
And so we work very closely with them. And I think they're one of our greatest economic development groups because they really are the driving force between helping people understand the impact of buying local. And it can be quite amazing what it does. It not only fosters the vitality of the community because the businesses flourish when you're using local business, but it also creates a secure community as well because it moves towards fire and safety and police because revenues that come from the business taxes and such go into city services. So
that's something I didn't really think about.
It's so interconnected. I actually, if I may, I have an article in our directory that's actually the 8 reasons or 10 reasons why you should buy local.
Keeping it local.
Keeping it local. And there are just so many reasons. And also it's good for the environment when you are buying local product and working with local businesses. I have one member in particular who said she's tried so extensively to buy local that she hasn't had to buy anything out of East County in 2 years.
Wow, that's really making an effort.
That's our chair of the Try Local First Committee, Bess Wells.
I think we maybe have shown a picture, or if we haven't, we'll show a picture of the directory itself, which this features everyone who is a member of the.
That's correct.
Of the directory. I know that here at Metro East Community Media, I use this all the time. I mean, when I'm looking for a printer, I'm looking for a caterer, I'm looking for a venue, you know, anything like that. The first place I look is the Chamber directory. You know, because those people are very involved in the community, they're supportive of the community, and I want to be connected with them, and I want our organization to be connected with them.
I think that's just really important. You know, just in the 3 days of this week, I've used 3 or 4 organizations out of that. You know, I've got a pickup truck from our school, Jerry Geiser's place. I've got an art teacher doing an art class on my campus. I've used a printer this week from the Chamber. And negotiating right now with the Gresham Outlook. So the point is, strengthen your local economy by dealing with local people. And that way you provide jobs to your community and economic vitality and strength that allows for expansion of business opportunities.
That's so important. So how do you encourage people to become Chamber members? How do you grow the Chamber? And how do you retain the members that you have?
I would say it's a multifold process. First, we've actually just hired 2 new salespeople, which I'm very excited about.
Good.
And one of the gals who is working with us has had extensive Chamber experience. She's either been a member or worked for at least 5 or 6 chambers.
Oh, wow.
So she has a really good idea about what it means to be a Chamber member because she's also been a small business owner.
Oh, yeah.
And so part of it is actually going out to the businesses and understanding what their needs are because we are a service organization and we're meant to be a resource to the community. So the idea is we need to serve the needs of our members. And so the first step is really understanding what those needs are and being flexible and resilient so that we're able to provide the things that they need. And what's interesting about the Chamber is we have such a diverse membership because we have, sole proprietor businesses up to large companies such as Boeing.
Right.
So we need to provide services of all ranges, and some of it ends up being around business education, some of it's networking and promotional opportunities through marketing that we can do through our website and the Chamber directory and just networking with one another. But on the other hand, one of the things that draws the larger companies is the advocacy that we do with local, state, regional, and federal government. Because if a business has a need and something is happening where they have a concern, they can come to the Chamber where I have created relationships with our elected officials and can go forth and say, oh, this is coming up among the businesses in our membership, and I wanted to voice this and talk about how we work through this challenge.
Can you give me an example of some advocacy work that you've done?
Advocacy begins with relationships, and so I'll give you a great example that's actually happening this week. The Art Walk is taking place, as I think you know about that, in Gresham. It's one of the largest events, which brings about 10 or 15,000 people to our region. It's huge.
We're a sponsor too, and we're
exactly.
and we'll be there.
Exactly. Well, a couple weeks ago, Senator Merkley's office called me and said the senator would like to come to the Art Walk. Would you be willing to escort him?
Oh,
and
lovely.
That wasn't. That's a great opportunity for us, but that wasn't a call that came out of the blue. Many months back, I had met with his office, and we had quite a long conversation about how do we work together. He wants to be active and have a representation here in East County. What are opportunities where we could work together? And we talked about a variety of things. So their office calling me wasn't by accident.
Yeah, you'd laid the groundwork for it.
Exactly. And so therefore what is happening is he's coming, he said, can you, while I'm here, connect me with some of your elected officials and your community leaders that would be important for me to meet. So you might not think that's direct advocacy, but what that does is it's a relationship where I'm able to provide a relationship. And I have a member who said, here's a message I would like you to bring to Senator Merkley for me, please, because she's not able to be at that meeting. So I carry that forth as the voice of business.
That's great.
So it's both relationships, but then sometimes there are either tax issues or city regulations or what have you that members will speak with me about. And then in turn I can go and talk to the city and say, hey, this is a concern, this is inhibiting business growth. What can we do to work through it?
That's something I didn't really realize.
That's really important because I become acquainted with the city councilors and other local leaders, and when I have issues, I can go directly to them. But the relationship is critical just among all the members. If I need an auto body, I have a relationship with him, and I know because of that relationship, I'm going to get good service at a good price, and if I don't get it, he knows he gets to see me every week at chamber meetings.
So there's a trust there.
Exactly. There is a trusting relationship that's created. There's a bond there. And I don't ever feel like I'm going to get taken to the cleaners.
That's good. That's good. Unless you're at the cleaners.
Unless I'm at the cleaners.
So you work with the city and other local governments and state and beyond. I mean, you're absolutely involved in all of that. So what else do you do to stimulate the economic growth of this area? What other kinds of things do you do?
I would say part of it is our work with other organizations like the East Metro Economic Alliance.
Ah, yes.
I work very actively with their executive director on a variety of initiatives, and one of the things we're doing is creating a coalition to create more of a regional view to promote our region all together with all the cities in East County or in East Metro area. And so, for example, we'll work on something like that together so that we can go into the community and have common talking points about East Metro area so that we're all talking about the same thing and we have a united vision and a united focus. We're also working to create an advocacy group among that where we can go and have a stronger advocacy voice because if you look at it, we do have the opportunity of power in numbers with this coalition that we're building. So that would be one way, because the East Metro Economic Alliance's goal is around economic development as well, and we need to be very much an active part of that, but the Chamber has so many other things that we do as well, so we need to have partners who can serve in ways that when we don't have the bandwidth that they can go out and be a voice and that we're united and a united front.
Good, good. Bob?
And through the Chamber, we have a connection with our state legislators, our senator, our representative, and I know Alice and I and a couple other Chamber members went and met with them This spring, I went a year ago, before Allison came as well. We have a chance to interface with our state representatives. And I know we found this year, they want to hear from us. They ask us, they beg us. We need input from the community, share with us. So when there are issues that go on up to the state level, there is an advocacy relationship there.
I think on the other note, we also try to bring elected officials to our membership body to ask questions and hear points. A good example is on Wednesday, the 20th, we have our Government Affairs Council luncheon, and your organization helps us with that by taping it and broadcasting it as well, where we're having a legislative session review. And so Representative Greg Matthews and Matt Wand and actually Senate President Peter Courtney will be speaking to talk about what has happened in this session. That's another way that it doesn't seem it's connected to economic development, but it really is, because we're talking about the legislative issues and how they impact the community. But in turn, there's a give and take where the membership is able to give some input and say, here's what we think. So it's a give and take.
Well, they're making decisions that can affect the economy, that can affect the taxation rates for businesses, and
which
so
ends
on.
up affecting all of us.
Exactly.
So speaking of the community, you have community partners. Who are some of the groups that you work with? I mean, for example, the college. You work with the college.
We do. We work with Mount Hood Community College in a variety of ways. We work with the Small Business Development Center for educational programs. We're hoping to launch a series of things with them going forward. I've actually met with all the deans of the college to see how we can work together in better ways, because there's so many overlaps. Workforce development is a huge part of what is important to economic development. And so since I'm on the ground with all the businesses, they can say, well, these are the type of skills that we're needing among workers, and then we can in turn go to the college and say, wow, we're seeing a need for this program. In turn, we're able to work with the college in terms of their community outreach and that sort of thing as well. And so it's really a symbiotic relationship, and it's very important. There are also a lot of other community groups, such as the Historic Downtown Gresham Business Association. That's another group that we work with. I actually have their walking map here, and this is one that's more on a visitor level. As we said, we're talking about kind of the chamber functions, but this is more of our visitor center function, where we work with the Downtown Business Association to help promote Gresham. And again, it's the Tri-Local First idea, but this is their new walking map.
I like this. I'm glad to have this. I just got that.
These are hot off the press. They just got delivered today, actually.
Oh, they're lovely, actually.
So this is a partnership, again, where they have a visitor focus, as do we, so we're working together. And they give this out in their stores. We give it out in relocation packets. I also work with, again, like the college, their Mount Hood Community College has their aquatic program.
Which is a huge program.
It's a huge
program.
A lot
of people.
And what's great about it, it's got a phenomenal pool, an Olympic-sized pool, and they do a lot of swim events and are very well known for that. And so they bring in thousands of visitors each year.
I went to a state meet there last year. I was surprised how many people were there. I thought it would be just,
Well, that also enhances the economy, because these people are coming in there. You call it in the visitor industry heads in beds. They provide heads in beds because they're staying in the hotels, they're eating in the restaurants, and so therefore, I have a partnership with Mount Hood aquatic program where I send them the walking maps, because people come in and they want to know, where's the little downtown? What do we do? How do we participate?
That's great.
So that's just a simple example of one of the community organizations.
I need to get a stack of these for our interest. People come to us, and they are going to make their own TV shows, and so they bring guests in. And a lot of times they'll say, well, where's a good place to eat around here? Where's a good place to go to get a cup of coffee, or something like that. And it's great to be able to say, well, here,
I'm not sure that the community recognizes the fact that the Chamber office is more than a business organization. It's also a visitor center to promote regional tourism. And that's another one, another area that we are wanting to put greater focus on, because as we can attract more tourism here, that fills the hotels, the restaurants, the department stores. It generates all that local shopping. So we're putting more of a focus on trying to partner with these tourist organizations.
Like the lodgings and the restaurants and all that. So people, can they come to the to the visitor center and pick up information there?
People go there all the time, and they pick up brochures or get information. And Allison and her staff there we'll meet with them and give them appropriate information so they can go off to do what they want to do.
Do what it is they do.
And it's all over the map, if I could say so. We had a gentleman this afternoon who was looking for specific cemeteries in Gresham because he was looking for loved ones who had been in his family, like from a historic perspective.
Right,
and Julie, who I work with, said she probably gets 2 of those requests a week.
Really?
You know, about birth and death records. And so that's kind of an odd request, but just to tell you, it's across the board. And then we'll have people coming, they want to go to Mount Hood, or they're looking for hikes in the gorge. So we have all kinds of information about that. Plus just people who are like, well, I want to go visit Gresham and see what's in Gresham. Where are your parks? What are available?
We have great parks. We have great outdoor activities.
So the staff there, they track all those requests, and we actually submit that to the city as part of the validation process for having the chamber operate the visitor center.
Oh, I love it. And how long have you operated the visitor center? Has it always been part of the chamber?
It used to be called the Visitor Authority some time back. I think in the late 90s it was called the Visitor Authority, and I'm not sure when the transition happened into the visitor center, but it's been going on for some time.
Yeah, well, good.
So the city does give a grant to the chamber to help operate the center and cover some of the costs.
Good. Now you also have a good website at the chamber, and people can go to that to get a lot of that information too.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. So how else are you getting the word out about the chamber and what's going on? These are great pieces of material here, but you said you work with the downtown with the historic.
The Historic Downtown Gresham Business Association. It's quite a name. I say it often. I would say from a visitor perspective, it's groups like the Business Association. We also partner with the West Columbia Gorge Chamber of Commerce because, you know, they're in our community, so it only behooves us to work together. We also are friendly with the Sandy Chamber of Commerce as well.
If people are going up to the mountain.
Exactly. For groups like the Art Walk, we've been working a lot with them. And for example, we're doing a community table this weekend providing visitor information, but we're working in conjunction with the Center for the Arts, with GUDA, with the Historic Business Association again, and actually the Outlook will be there in our booth. And we try to work to promote in this way. We also work with your organization, Metro East, in a variety of ways. This program, you've promoted our events. We also have a public service announcement in regards to Try Local First through you. You tape our Government Affairs Council meetings. So these are all benefit to us because with those things like the videotapes that you provide for us, we broadcast on our website as well. So members who aren't able to make it, for example, to our Government Affairs luncheon can actually watch the program.
Good deal. There's a lot of networking. There's a lot of partnerships going on.
And you know, the chamber has just hired 2 new membership managers. They haven't had 2 membership managers for some time.
That's good news then, isn't it?
What's good news? You know, the chamber is alive and well and expanding the staffing there in order to expand the membership and expand the service into the community. So I think the community will look or can look for bigger and better things to come from the chamber.
Wonderful. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on? I mean, there's so much going on with the chamber. It's very exciting, and I'm really pleased that you're focused on the economic development of the area and showcasing this beautiful area out here. Is there anything else that we should know that I?
Well, I would just say, if you're interested in any of our directories, to go to the website or come into our chamber office. We're on 701 Northeast Hood Avenue, so you can come in.
In the heart of Gresham.
Yes, exactly. We can provide all sorts of information. If you're interested in chamber membership, you can also contact our office and we can walk you through the many different benefits and values of being a member, and not just the tangible things of the networking. We do have many networking events. We have a very
very fun.
We have a very robust Friday morning networking. It's early for some people. It's 7 to 9.
We've had one here before in this very room.
Right. So it's 7 to 9, but we tend to get between 80 to 120 people depending on the time of year.
That's pretty darn good for.
It's amazing. Most chambers, it's much smaller. It's usually 30 to 40. So we have a robust networking, and I think that also shows the commitment of the membership to getting to know local companies, working locally, and that sort of thing. And then we also have all types of educational events. We have something that we're working on for the fall, so you want to look forward to this. I think you and I might visit about this later in the year. We're doing an economic summit that will be in October, and the theme, amazingly enough, it's well intended, but this one is on economic development, and we're looking at it from the state level, the local level. What do we provide as a region? Where do we have advantages? Where do we have work to do? So that will be a topic that I think will be of great interest to a lot of the community.
Yes, I think so too.
But I would encourage the community businesses to consider chamber membership if they haven't already, because it's a chance not only for them to gain value from that membership, and it's not just about what we can get though, it's also about what we can give.
Sure.
And I think if the business community as a whole can invest themselves into the chamber membership and the vibrant health of the business community, then we all win.
Well said, Bob. Well said. Well, thank you, both of you, Allison
You're
and Bob, for
welcome.
being on here today.
Pleasure.
I learned something new, and I hope our viewers did too. So, if people are interested in finding out about the Chamber, you have your website. We'll have the address on our screen, the telephone number. It's all there. So I've got the number memorized. I call you. I don't need to look it up.
Should be on your speed dial.
Yes, I've got it down. But thank you both very much.
Thank you very much. It's been
And
a
thanks
pleasure.
for watching the Community Hotline Show. We were delighted to have you with us tonight. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, and we have a Metro East blog, a Community Hotline blog also. If you have questions for Allison or Bob, you can come to our blog and ask them there, and we'll be sure to pass them on. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Monica Weitzel, and this was Community Hotline.
Remember, you can take part in the discussion online. Visit our blog and tell us about your experiences at communityhotline.wordpress.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Facebook page too. You can see what's going on behind the scenes, find out about fun contests we're running, and link to some of the great organizations that have been on at facebook.com/communityhotline Metro East. See you online.